We're all familiar with the saying that starts out, "The pen is mightier." So it goes to say that the penlight is mightier ruins the joke I was going to make. You're like, penlights?
Just see it up however you want, but does it work? I'd order a dozen or more if they just work.
Alright, now hold your horses. Let's check out the Lumintop IYP365, not to be confused with the YUP365, which is something else altogether. And actually more of a question. The IYP365 is a compact aluminum constructed penlight that runs off of 2 AAA batteries and can be ordered in 2 tints. Lumintop sent me the Nichia version for review, which has a nice, slightly warmish to neutral tint. Lumintop uses a 219 BT for this version. The cooler white version uses a, you guessed it, XP-G2 cool white emitter that puts out a bit more light than the version I reviewed here. Anyway, it's aluminum constructed with an almost silky HA3 hard anodization on the outside. It has a stainless steel clip, some Executive Bro gold rings at the top and bottom, telling everyone, hey, you've arrived, look at my flashlight. A springy, yet smooth, stainless steel switch on the back that allows it to tail stand, sort of awkwardly. A coated glass lens up front with a glow-in-the-dark O-ring, and an orange peel reflector to really help smooth out that beam pattern. So now that I have used up all my flashlight adjectives describing the exterior, let's see how this fancy little light performs. Oops, I guess I had one more left. The IYP365 has 3 levels of output, which I observed. No visible PWM on any of the modes with my eyes or cameras. You'll see my estimates and Lumintops on the screen. Let's start with low, which is a great low mode. It's enough light for me to navigate a dark house, because you asked. Then there's medium mode, which is a good, like, close range lighting mode. Then there's high mode. Yep, high mode. And no strobes. Sorry, it's not tactical. Okay, how about the user interface? The IYP has no mode memory and always starts out on medium when you turn it on. Then half presses advance to low, then high, then medium, then low, then high, then medium, then low, then high. You get the idea. It loops, sort of like the Lumintop copper tool I reviewed a while back and screwed up by saying it had mode memory. I know, sometimes I make mistakes. Anyway, you need to leave the light off for about 1.5 to 2 seconds for the mode order to reset to medium, because if you try to turn it on too quickly, it just starts on the next mode, like next mode memory. But it's not. Just leave it off for like more than 2 seconds. Okay, I personally like going into low first, but no one asked me. And you can't move the clip and say place it near the head without some sort of modification. You can remove it, but there'll be a small gap where you took it from. And you need to take the head off the light to put the batteries in and not the tail cap. Positive end of the batteries, of course, go toward the emitter and reflector. Anyway, how about a runtime? I only tested high, but I tested it with the included alkaline Duracells and my own rechargeable eneloops, so you can see how 2 types of battery chemistries behave when used in the same light. Both run for about an hour total. The alkaline starts dropping at about 20 minutes in and continues the rest of the runtime. The eneloops, on the other hand, stay mostly constant for about an hour, then start dropping pretty quickly. The eneloops are obviously the much better choice for sustained brightness. Alkalines suck and leak and ruin flashlights, so don't use them. Eneloops are a much better replacement for AA and AAA lights out there. Use them. Or don't do anything, I say. Cool, now a Beamshot section that may look slightly familiar. I'll pit each of the lights in this picture against the Lumintop. All lights are set to their maximum output modes per flashlight science. You'll see my estimates and camera settings on the screen. First is the Lumintop. Yeah. There we go. Then there's the Astrolux M01 with the Nichia emitter. It's a more neutral tinted Nichia emitter than the IYP365, as you can see. I prefer the Lumintop tint slightly. Then there's the M01 XP-G2, which is a keychain light like the, M01. Both M01s, M01s have a more dispersed beam pattern. The Lumintop has a slightly more defined hotspot. Then there's the CooYoo Quantum, which is my current keychain light that I never use. It's a very similar light to both the M01s. It's a cooler tint than the Lumintop. Then there's the BLF348, a more neutral tint than the Lumintop by a little. Again, I like warmer tints personally because they're closer to indoor lighting, and this is where I'm going to use this light because it's not a high output light. And finally, the old reliable Fenix LD15. I'm not a huge fan of that tint, but it's still a nice little light with a good hotspot. Okay, let's wrap it up. I'm a big fan of this light. It really takes up way less room than my current ADC, so when I'm not wearing a suit jacket for work and I need something for my jeans or pants pocket, this one isn't much bigger than an ink pen. The dual AAA batteries give you decent run times, and the light is just bright enough for a nice indoor soft light. If you work in smaller or enclosed areas and you don't need a ton of throw or a high output light, then this is a good light for you. Other than AAA batteries, it came with 2 spare O-rings, a real nice box for people into cardboard, and a little plastic baggie for the O-rings. If you like this review, subscribe to my channel. I have about 6 million light and knife reviews I'm working on right now. I just got a bunch more that I did not expect. Don't forget to like my video and leave me a comment. Thanks for watching, homies.